My name is Bill Evanovich. I'm a survivor of prostate cancer. I was diagnosed in 1995, and not knowing anything about cancer, let alone prostate, the knowledge that I had cancer was a tremendous, tremendous fright for me to get over. To have to go home and tell my family that I'm dying of cancer was a tremendous load on my shoulders. It took a while for it to sink into me that I'm going to die. Not when, but I'm going to die soon. And how am I going to go home and tell my family, especially my wife, that I'm not going to be around for very long because I've got cancer? And I was living in Toronto at the time, and I got on the subway to get home, and I walked into the house, and on the way down on the subway, I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? How am I going to approach this subject? How am I going to tell my wife and my children? And when I did get home and told my wife that I had cancer, it took such a load off my shoulders because my wife understood it and accepted it 10 times better than I did, whether it was because I was the one that has the cancer or whether it's because she was supportive. But the children took it hard. But my biggest help was that the family rallied around we called it our problem, not my problem. And we were going to tackle this thing, and we were going to deal with this problem together. Prostate is one of those cancers that is kind of a silent cancer. By the time you get any side effects that there's something wrong, it's usually already too late because your cancer has already spread to other areas of your body. To deal with that is quite a trauma because, first of all, we don't know nothing about it, and the fear of any type of cancer is, of course, death. Not when you're going to die, but that you're dying of it. And when you're a family man, there's a lot of things that come into play because you know that your life is going to be shortened, and you've got children, and you want to see your children grow up and get married. You want to see your grandchildren. All these thoughts go through your mind. So it's a tremendous load to carry. But my biggest help, besides the family, when I was in recovery mode, was a support group. The other part that really came into play was I was getting very depressed. Depressed because I still wanted to do all the things that I used to be able to do before I had my surgery, which I wasn't able to do. The snow removal was a classic example. And so I started to get depressed. My wife didn't notice the depression because she saw me every day. So, and this was something that was happening gradual. Our daughter that we saw once every 2 weeks phoned my wife and said, "Mom, Dad's in a bad shape. He needs help." And she on her own went and found me a support group in Toronto, and had the man phone me and explain to me that this support group was specifically set up for prostate cancer patients. And thank God that that man called me, because that turned my life around completely. And that's when my recovery really started to improve. Recovery is something that you have to, if you get too much wrapped up into the depression part, recovery becomes very difficult because you can make yourself sick. So with the support group, I was able to talk to people there that had prostate cancer, but some had surgery and others had different types of treatments. So, and I also realized that my cancer was not as serious as I thought it was. I wasn't going to die. I have now been a survivor going in my 16th year, and for years and years, once a year, I would go and see my urologist and have my numbers checked to see how I was progressing. And for about 7 years, my numbers never changed at all. And after that, after the 10-year period, I felt that I had it licked, that my cancer wasn't coming back.